Welcome to another edition of the HHC Sports Weekly. I'm Justin Soakland. This week, we take a look at the Mr. Football Award winner from Columbus East. We catch up with Chad Gilbert and his new profession after he left the coaching sideline at Jeffersonville. We look at New Albany, ranked in the top 10 in Class 4A in boys basketball. And we're taking a look at the girls basketball race in the league. All those highlights are coming up, so let's get started. Markel Jones, the sensational Columbus East running back, was named Mr. Football. Jones set a single-season state rushing record with 3,536 yards and 60 touchdowns, powering East to a Class 4A regional title. His 7,793 career yards ranks second in state history. Jones is the second HHC player to earn the award since its inception in 1992. Columbus East quarterback Gunnar Keel won the prestigious title in 2011. Chad Gilbert enjoyed tremendous success as a coach in the Hoosier Hills Conference. He guided Jeffersonville girls program for 11 seasons and compiled an impressive 220-43 mark with 6 sectional titles and a state championship in 2011. He also coached the Jeff boys for 2 years and won a regional in 2013. He left coaching to work as an athletic director at Charlestown, his alma mater. Here's more with Chad Gilbert. Here with Chad Gilbert, the former girls basketball coach at Jeffersonville and the boys basketball coach at Jeffersonville, now an AD at Charlestown. Chad, you've been coaching for a long time, had a lot of success with the state championship at Jeff. Do you miss it?
I miss it every day. You know, it's so much fun. And what I miss more than anything is the relationship I have with my players. And it's something that I look forward to every day. It was a grind every day, but it's something that you don't know what it's got till it's gone. I miss coaching very, very bad.
What are the memories of that 2011 state championship with the Red Devils?
You know, what made that so great was just the whole journey. Everything involved in it, whether it was going to the sectional, going to the regional. And we made Bedford our home. You know, we were up there for 5 games. It was a great time. And our kids, I hope they made memories, just not of the state championship, but the whole grind. You know, it was a grind that took 11 years to get done.
Hoosier Hills Conference has always had a good basketball tradition in boys, but the girls kind of gone unnoticed. But New Albany, a former state champion, Jeffersonville, now BNL on quite a run. What's it say about the strength of the conference that you've seen now that you stepped away from it?
Well, you know, that and the MIC were always the top 2 conferences. You know, in the state that I felt, those guys were the ones in 4A. They were the contenders, and it seems like that's still holding suit now. And basketball is great. You know, the girls' game just keeps continue to grow, continue to get better, and the boys in the Hoosier Hills is outstanding.
The Hoosier Hills Conference had a heyday in boys basketball in the late 80s and early 90s. Jeffersonville won its state championship there. In that time frame as well. So will you see a return to that, do you think, one of these days?
You know, it's so tough because you got to play so many 4A teams to get out, and the way it's set up now, to win it, you've got to beat 3 Indy teams, and I think that's hard to do. You know, before Indy kind of knocked themselves out a little bit, and you just had to survive and advance with what you got. And I think the way it's set up now, it's going to be hard for anyone from starting to the end to win the whole thing. But you know, that's what makes the tournament special.
How is being an AD the same or different than being a head coach?
You know, you're kind of a coach of coaches. You know, and you're dealing with more adults than you are dealing with kids. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. But you know, everybody's in the same thing together. You know, they want our kids to be successful. They want their programs to be successful. And there's stuff that our coaches do that I was doing 2 years ago. And that's why I tell them, you know, you can't get the help around me because I was doing the same stuff 2 years ago. And it's fun from that aspect because we've got some really great coaches who really put in a lot of effort, just like they were down at Jeff. So, you know, people who are coaching, they're in it for the right reasons.
And you were also an outstanding former player. So do you look back on that time frame and from your coaching career and think, hey, this is the way it should be done because based on your past experience?
Oh, absolutely. You know, and basketball is, you know, it was more than just playing. You know, it made my life because the relationships I met and the friendships from on the court, the friendships from other teams, the people I coach, those are my best friends. You know, and it was from basketball. Without basketball, I wouldn't have those opportunities, and that's something that I hope these kids do the same thing.
In boys basketball, New Albany has established itself as the team to watch in the Hoosier Hills Conference this season. The Bulldogs, ranked in the top 10 in Class 4A, are off to a 5-0 start, led by senior guard Devon Winburn and freshman Romeo Langford. The Bulldogs posted 2 impressive wins last week as they conquered Floyd Central 80-67 and 3A number 4 Corridon 77-63. Against the Highlanders, Langford scored 25 points, while Floyd's Miles Irvin had 26.
You know, Davon's got to get going for us. I mean, it can't just be Romeo, and Davon got us going in the second half.
Well, that was my next question. Did you get stuck standing around watching Romeo do his thing?
Probably, yeah. A lot of standing around. He did his thing, though.
Yeah, he did. But
kind of like at the end of the game when Irvin was doing his thing. I mean, he's pulling up from like 26 feet. It's like, they're looking at me, I don't know how you guard that. You know?
But with Miles and JC, those are two guys that are explosive offensively, and we're still learning a way to incorporate what they do well with a way that is offensively sustainable against a good team. And so we're working at that.
Yeah, 3-pointers from the volleyball line, that's hard to maintain, but he hit some tonight, though.
He can make some unbelievable individual plays.
Another big game in the league was Madison's 75-61 victory over Jeffersonville. The Cubs beat the Red Devils for only the 7th time in 40 years, as Nick Macon had 25 points and 9 assists. Madison is now 4-1, and so is Jennings County after the Panthers clipped Class A number 10, Rock Creek, 48-47. In girls basketball, several teams are jockeying for position behind league leader Bedford North Lawrence. Seymour is 7-1 after a 59-35 victory over Madison. The Cubs are 7-2, and New Albany is 6-2 after a 67-64 win over Jennings County. The Owls, Cubs, and Bulldogs all have one loss in the league race. Of course, number 1 ranked BNL has continued its march. The 2-time defending state champions recorded another win over a ranked opponent, stopping number 4 Center Grove 46-33. And here's more on the Stars. Looking to jump any ball exchange, looking to trap it. There's Allen, gets to a try, goes back to work. Time is big an enemy as Center Grove is right now. Right, all the way to the basket. Good by Allen.
The defensive effort, which we've always talked about, I think we guard people, and a lot of teams haven't seen that. So, today I thought we had another outstanding defensive effort.
Well, especially against, their 1-2 punch of Wentland and Norris. Norris had 1 free throw. Wentland had 2 baskets. Those two, when you take them away, Rao had a great game, but those two, when you take them away, they made them look average.
Rao's an outstanding player. I've got some really good defenders I was trying to stop her with, and she was having her way a couple times. I thought for the most part we did okay on her, but she's a really good player. We had talked all week about taking things away from them in the half court. That's how we were going to win the basketball game. We knew we eventually will find ways to score. We'll make shots, but we want to take things away from them that they were comfortable doing in the half court. And I thought we did a good job of that today.
Sorry. Well, you hung with them tough, but their defense probably the difference today.
Yeah, I think the defense was, we played really well. I was happy with the first half. Actually, the whole game, I thought we did a really nice job. We ended up having to come out of our zone because of, just being behind. We just didn't get what we wanted on the offensive end, and I know a lot of opponents that we've played against have had issues scoring against them. We had good looks, the looks we wanted to, but we just didn't get to the finish, and it's hard to finish around the rim. You got 6'3", 6'2" right there with Dom and Jenna, so that was kind of that was rough for us. We would have liked to get to the foul line a little bit more, but overall this is a step in the right direction for us. We're trying to become a championship team, win section, maybe get to the regional, play them again. So that's kind of what we're looking for.
Here are this week's games to watch. In boys basketball on Friday, interleague games include Madison, which is 4-1 and 1-1 in the league, at Bedford North Lawrence, which is Sterling at 1-5 and 0-1. New Albany, 5-0 and 2-0, will visit Seymour, which is also off to a slow start at 1-4 and 0-1. But on Saturday, the game demanding attention is Carmel, which was ranked number 1 until a loss last week, and it has starring Purdue recruit Ryan Klein as a sharpshooter in the backcourt, will visit New Albany. In girls basketball on Saturday, BNL, which is 10-0 and 3-0, will visit Madison. The Stars have won 3 straight HHC titles and 26 straight league games. That concludes another episode of the HHC Sports Weekly. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter as we track all the success of the league teams and its stars. Until then, thanks for watching.